Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel Query Solution. So today we are going to talk the very first chapter of biology of grade 10, which is life processes. So let us understand first of all the title of this, the meaning of the title of your chapter, which is life process. What do you mean by life process first of all? So any process which happen in your body, which is happening right now, which keeps happening in our body also, which is important for the growth and development of your body, but at the same time it is important for the survival as well. That is what is meant by a life process. So what do you think mainly? What is happening in your body which is helping you in survival at this point right now, and it is happening also at the back end of your body always? So what do you think? What are such processes mainly? So if we talk about the process of digestion, right, this is important for the survival. Now why digestion is important for survival? Because whatever food mainly that you are eating, it is getting converted into energy, right, and that energy is helping you to do lots of work. Without this process we won't be able to do work, our body won't be able to function properly, and it will come on our survival. So digestion is important for our body. The process of circulation is the very same time is important. Now why circulation? Because the process of circulation involves pumping of the blood, and blood in a way when it's pumping to whole of your body, it is transporting nutrients, it is helping in removing out waste as well. So circulation is very important. Whenever you're eating the food, your body is generating lots of waste as well. So the process of excretion is important, which involves removal of the waste. If this won't get excreted out, the toxic substances will get accumulated in your body, and then again it will hamper the survival. So these are some processes that happens in our body which are important for the growth and development definitely, but if they won't happen at the pace they should be, then it will be coming on to the survival of an organism. So this is what is meant by life process. Now in this chapter of life process, the very first topic that we need to cover and study is the concept of nutrition. So what do you mean by nutrition mainly? Do you feel it is the process of obtaining the food? Do you feel that whatever food that you are eating, that is what is nutrition? So if this is what you are going to write in your exam, this is going to cut your marks. Why? Because nutrition is not just the process of obtaining. It is not just about eating your food, but at the same time the process of obtaining your food and then utilizing it to obtain what? Utilizing it to obtain energy. That is what is meant by nutrition. So this is how you can completely define nutrition. You should not just talk about process of obtaining the food. No, that's not the complete definition, but the process of obtaining the food and then utilizing this food to get energy. This is what is meant by nutrition mainly, right? So whenever we talk about this nutrition concept, this is very important to understand that based on the different complexities of organism, how nutrition happen mainly. So if I talk about a simple unicellular organism, the single celled organism like amoeba, right? You would have studied this in grade 9. How would they obtain nutrition? So these organisms like amoeba and all, which are single celled, they obtain nutrition by a simple process which is known as diffusion. So I know you have studied diffusion in grade 9 also. What is diffusion? It is the movement of molecules. It is the movement of molecules from higher concentration to lower concentration, right? So whenever the molecules will be higher in number, higher in the concentration, they will be moved towards the area of the lower concentration. So this is how these unicellular are going to obtain their nutrition. So if I roughly draw the structure of an amoeba and consider these blue dots as your food item. So where the food items are more in number, they are higher towards the outer side, and inner side they are lesser. So how they are going to move? The food particles will move from the higher side, that is higher concentration, outside to the inside. That is what will happen when food molecules are talking about. Now consider these red dots as waste. Okay, just consider these red dots as waste. So whenever an organism will eat the food, definitely the waste is what is going to be generated. So when this waste is generated, they are more towards the inner side and less on the outer side. So where the movement will happen? Here the movement will happen from the inner side to the outside. So the food molecule that we are talking, they are moving from the outside to the inner side, and the waste that we are talking in the case of unicellular, they move from the inside to the outside. And in both the way, what process is being used? So the process of diffusion is used. So this is how the nutrition is obtained or the waste is removed by using the process of diffusion in the case of unicellular. But how about a complex body organism like a multicellular organism? What this is going to do? Here diffusion will not be the simple process through which they can exchange their energies or obtain energies, right? So in the case of multicellular organisms, there are mainly two modes of nutrition that we can say. One of the mode of nutrition is something which is known as autotrophic, right? And another mode is something which is known as heterotrophic. Now what is autotrophic mode of nutrition? Autotrophic means where the organism will make its own food, which is also known as self. That is what is known as autotrophic. And what is heterotrophic? Where one organism will depend on someone else for food. That is what is known as heterotrophic. So I hope you all know in grade 10 which organism can make their own food. So organisms like plants, right, they can make their own food. And what are then they known as? So they are known as autotroph. What is you mean by autotroph? Autotroph means the organism, autotrophs. The organisms which can make their own food like plants, they are known as autotroph. They will make their own food. They won't depend on anyone else for food. And what are heterotrophs then? So heterotroph are organisms which will depend on someone else for food, like human. We can't make our own food. We need to eat our food and then get energy. So there is a difference between trophic and troph. Don't get confused. Trophic means the mode, the process. So the process through which they will make their own food, they are known as autotrophic mode of nutrition, and the organisms which use this process to make food, they are known as autotroph. Similarly, the process in which one organism will depend on someone else for food, that is known as heterotrophic nutrition, and the organisms that perform this process are known as heterotroph, right? So this is what introductory video about life process that we have talked today. What is life process is what we have understood. Important for the survival, growth and development is what it provides. And in this chapter, the first concept is what we have covered, which is nutrition, the process of obtaining the food and then utilizing that food to obtain energy. And then we have seen how in a simple unicellular organism nutrition will take place, and then in multicellular organisms what are the ways through which they are going to obtain their energy out of the food. So autotrophic and the heterotrophic mode of nutrition. So stay tuned. In our next video we are going to study in detail about the process of autotrophic mode of nutrition. Thank you.